your skills. I've got to take a penalty against you in a minute. Also, worst glasses I've ever seen. Terrible shape for your face. Terrible.
I really like them.
What? Who? Who? Frank? Yeah. Really? I won't, because I can't. I'll stand by it because of the soccer aid on Saturday. I don't want to do the groin or anything, you know what I mean?
Have you had your practicing ahead of soccer aid?
A little practice in a minute over there. Oh, yes, Frank.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. When did you get the call up?
A couple of weeks ago, about a month ago. Basically, they asked me to go on soccer aid, and I just went, no, I can't. I'm not really a footballer. And then the boys in the office, and I went, mate, you've got to play soccer aid. So I went home, and like my daughter's a really keen footballer, and I thought that'd be pretty cool to be able to say to your daughter that I'm playing for England in soccer aid. And I told her, and she went, don't you dare. I was like, what do you mean? She went, you can't play football. You'll embarrass yourself. So, but I was already committed by that point. So if you had a good laugh last Saturday, you'll have an even bigger laugh this Sunday at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah. Joe Leigh here for Title Sports Network with Eddie Hearn. How's the hangover ready over the weekend?
Yeah, it's good. You know, I think the response of the event and the show kind of softened the blow of the 10-0. Don't get me wrong, I'm still gutted for the fighters, gutted that we didn't win. But it was such a brilliant week, such a brilliant show. We're already planning the next one. And I promise you next time, it will not be 10-0. I will fucking make sure that Matchroom win this time. Don't worry about that.
When is that going to be? I asked Frank and everyone at the presser, could that be in England or Saudi? But do we have like a time scale? I'm sure you want that ASAP.
October or November is a likely date. Saudi, obviously, you know, there's so many huge events, but we can do it in the UK. We can do it, you know, do it anywhere in the world. But it's just the concept, the format, brilliant.
But Beterbiev Bivol, could it be on that undercard again?
Maybe. To be honest with you, I think that it's big enough to be its own attraction, the 5v5. Like sometimes even, obviously you had Bivol Zinad, it's kind of in the middle, you know, I don't know, you know, I mean, if you've got a massive main event like Bivol Beterbiev, you can run that after as a standalone. I think it works, but, you know, I think it's a big enough concept to do on its own.
How did it do in terms of pay-per-view sales?
Really good. Much better than anticipated, you know, especially coming off the back of Fury Usyk. We were shocked by the numbers, and shocked not just by the numbers in terms of pay-per-view, but the digital numbers, the social interactions. Everyone was just completely all over it. And yeah, as I said, amazing event.
Yeah, you've just seen, I've had a bit of the forged iris that I've never had. Yeah, I went to Saudi, flew straight to Dublin for the presser, and it wasn't on. So yeah. I think I'm owed a free forged iris out. But it's good to be here today, of course, for Johnny Fisher. Alen Babic, what a fight that is at the right time for Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've wanted to headline Johnny Fisher for a while. He's the biggest ticket seller in the country from hand, and we know he was going to do big numbers, but to do it against Alen Babic, just kind of like the perfect fight. Everybody knows who Alen Babic is. Everyone knows how tough Alen Babic is. It's a massive step up for Johnny Fisher. He's already done 3,000 tickets out of hand. He'll do 4,000 or 5,000. We'll have 7,000 in there. It'll be an unbelievable night, and it's a massive fight for him. It's a huge step up.
Copper Bosch, was that your idea already?
Copper Bosch. It's just natural, isn't it? You know, so.
Makes sense. There was a quote I want to pull from the press conference that Johnny said, if you're in boxing and care about what people think, you're in the wrong sport. For me, that feels like a really mature thing to Johnny to say, and like it kind of surprised me. It shows where he's at mentally. He's really matured in this game.
Look, good and bad in the world of boxing, that everybody's opinionated and everybody likes to let you know. And some people are a little bit fucked up in the head. Some people are a little bit crazy. Some people are very opinionated. Some people are very passionate. But either way, you can't really win. So everybody's experienced that as a fighter, myself, through the years. If you start wanting to kind of debate with everybody online about and argue your position on points, you'll be doing it for the rest of your life. And as a fighter, the criticism that they receive is quite bizarre, really. I mean, you know, you can like AJ was finished, yeah? Now all of a sudden he's the most dangerous heavyweight in the world. It's like, it's very, very fickle, and I think Johnny's right. Johnny will get criticism because he's a ticket seller. Well, he's a lovely bloke. Why should he get any criticism? I mean, he's stepping up. He's giving us a great fight. The fact that he sells loads of tickets and he's really, really popular, fucking good. It's like, he's a gimmick, the Romford Bull. Oh, he's just a ticket seller. No, he's a ticket seller that can really fight as well, and he's great for British boxing. So let's get behind him. And by the way, he's a great guy with a great family. But we struggle to do that a little bit in our country. It's a bit weird, you know? It's almost like we like to support when you're losing, but not when you're winning. So let's switch it up, you know what I mean, and get behind a great fight.
Yeah, I want to kind of pull off from what you mentioned about AJ there. He's been in one of the biggest crossover fights. Obviously, there hasn't been many of those. Against Dubois would be one of the biggest British fights of all time, I feel like, in terms of being at Wembley, etc. And then potentially going on to the Fury fight afterwards. The trajectory he's on now, and you just mentioned he's back, is incredible.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't so long ago that people were saying that he was finished. You know, absolutely not the case. You know, he lost his way a little bit. He lost a little bit of confidence and belief. He's got that back and some. I think he's the most dangerous he's ever been. I think the best he's ever looked. And right now, we believe that he beats everybody in the sport. But, you know, we'll see who's next. We've made no decisions about September 21. Dubois is definitely in the hat. And if it's for the world title, I think he's a front runner. If it's not for the world title, could be Zhang, could be Parker, could be anyone. You know, that'll be down to AJ, myself, 258, His Excellency, to plan what the next step is for Anthony. And that will be revealed at the press conference on June 26th.
What does he say about that time period where things weren't going so great, and obviously mentally he might not have been the most confident?
He lost his way, you know, lost his belief a little bit. When AJ understands the game plan and he's well drilled, he beats everybody. But when he's unsure about, you know, he's a bright man. He's not someone you can just bluff. Do you know what I mean? And just say, oh, come on, mate, you're the man. You just go out there and do it. He's like, well, do you say do it? What do you mean go? You know, so and with Ben's very good at communicating that to the fighter and getting him to understand what you need to do. And every time I've been in the change room before Walin and before Ngannou, it was like, this is what's going to happen. What, bang, bang, bang. And it's like, fucking hell. Whereas before, you know, even in the Hellenius fight and the Franklin fight, and particularly in the Usyk fights, just a bit like second guessing yourself. And when he believes in himself, like I say, I believe he's unbeatable.
Yeah, you mentioned in an interview about a month ago about Muhammad Ali, the only person to win the belt 3 times, heavyweight championship, talking about.
There's been more.
Yeah.
What I actually said was 3-time world heavyweight champions. If you're a 4-time heavyweight world champion, you're not a 3-time heavyweight world champion. Do you know what I'm saying? So the only 3, no, but because, well, if you're a 2-time world heavyweight champion, you ain't a 4-time world heavyweight champion. And if you're a 2-time world heavyweight champion, you ain't a 1-time. If you're a 4-time heavyweight champion, you're a 4. I didn't say who has won the world heavyweight title. I said 3-time world heavyweight champion. So there is only one. There might be Lennox Lewis, but it's debatable. But the other one is Muhammad Ali. So like, what I'm getting at is there ain't many people that have won the world heavyweight championship 3 times. If he goes on to do that, it'll be a massive moment in history and legacy. So that's obviously something we're very attracted to do.
Yeah, no, the point I was trying to make was Anthony Joshua, obviously, okay, I'm going to compare it to Khabib in MMA. He hasn't got the best record, but he's undefeated. But when people come back from deficits and losses, it actually builds them up. And better memory, better history, better fighter.
He's fought everybody, right? He lost to Ruiz, he come back and beat Ruiz. I mean, if he wins in September and fights Usyk and beats him and comes back from that to become undisputed, he's motivated to do that. So if he can overcome those losses, then, you know, he's in a great position. And obviously, that's what he wants to do. And I believe he can go down as one of the greatest heavyweights ever. How
likely are we to see Joshua Dubois?
If it's for the world heavyweight title, I think a very, very strong chance.
Okay, and then just to end off, you're the type of promoter to not have as many full contracts. It's kind of the modern way. For example, with Devin Haney and Canelo. Do you feel like that's something that promoters will follow suit, and that is the modern style?
Promoters like to lock you up for a long period of time. For me, if you like working with us, you're going to work with us forever. But, you know, sometimes it suits us for a shorter contract. Sometimes it suits the fighter for a shorter contract. But, you know, again, if you're good enough, they'll stay.
Last question from me, very last question. What is your biggest misconception? What is the thing that people misconcept about Eddie Hearn the most?
I don't know. I think most opinions are probably true, to be honest with you. I think the one thing is the most common one is among fighters that are told, oh, Eddie Hearn's he's this, and then they meet me and they go, he's actually all right. Like, the reality is I'm actually all right. But I'm also a bit of a plonker, quite egotistical. I mean, unbelievable mostly. But, you know, so, yeah, what you see is what you get.
Good man, thank you.